Have you ever been in a situation where you have felt defensive or embarrassed? Most people would agree that we have all found ourselves in a tense and embarrassing situation where we feel that our identity, our image, or our face has been threatened. The face negotiation theory is a theory that states that in every culture, a person has a face, and throughout social interaction, the goal is to preserve or to protect the face. While doing extensive research, I found that the face was at the center of the conflicts that we are all bound to have in our day-to-day relationships. Our face is a public image that we wish to display. The way we negotiate face is influenced by our culture. The type of conflict or the approach to conflict that we have can also influence the way that we negotiate face. First, we need to understand the idea of the face. The idea of the face is simply synonymous to our public image. So we wish to tailor our face to fit our lives, such as our family, our cultural values, or even our occupation. Everyone has a face, and it aligns with the position that we hold in society or that we wish to hold in the future. Now, when faced with conflict, the way that we negotiate face can be influenced by different aspects of our lives. When facing conflict, our cultural background often dictates how we act in regards of preserving or protecting our face. In collectivist cultures, people would tend to avoid conflict in order to save their own face and the face of others. While in individualistic cultures, people would tend to dominate the conflict and seek to keep an independent face. In individualistic societies, people can be more welcoming to conflict as sometimes the domination of conflict can be used to gain status in their society and can be seen as a symbol of competence. Now, many of these reactions depend heavily on the type of conflict. Depending on the culture, we see 5 different approaches to conflict involving the face. First, we have domination, which is when a person seeks to take control of the problem and make the decisions. This is the type of conflict that we will see in more individualistic cultures, because as I said earlier, dominating a situation can be seen as a sign of competence. Compromising is also a method that we can see in individualistic cultures where all parties attempt to have a voice, negotiate in the decision-making process, and reach a conclusion. Another approach to conflict and teamwork that can be seen in more individualistic societies is called integrating. Integrating is when there is a more cooperative spirit and there's a hope to work together to find a solution, all as a group. Next, we have avoidance, which is when people decide to ignore or stay away from the problem. And this is an approach that we see typically in collectivist cultures. They tend to just try and pretend like the problem is not there in order to save face for everyone. Another collectivist approach that we can see sometimes is called obliging, which is when someone gives up to appease or oblige the other party and to save the face of the other party. As we see, the way we choose to approach conflict depends heavily on how we want to affect our face. Our face is the public image that we wish others to see and believe, and our cultural backgrounds and characteristics can influence the face that we have and how we go about protecting and preserving the face. Now, there are 5 possible approaches to conflict that we went over and that are really important as far as to preserving the face. At its core, the negotiation theory is an explanation for how different conflicts are approached in different cultures and how we choose to protect our self-image. In short, no matter our culture or gender, we will all have a face that we seek to preserve in order to maintain our social status.